morning, America, and welcome back to Joe Mama at 6. How is everybody doing? You doing good?
Oh, yeah.
Doing good? Today's story, we are going to be talking about how the World War II has affected the Mexican Americans in good ways and bad ways. So, some opportunities are...
Some opportunities the Mexican Americans had was they received many combat awards, as well as Mexican citizens received short-term contracts to come to the United States for work.
Mm-hmm. Yep, but they also did face many hardships when it came from the war, and these are...
One of them is the Zoot Zoot riots, and they also had extreme discrimination and against the Mexican American and all sorts of jobs they got taken from them.
Mm-hmm. So these zoot suits are zoot suits consist of a flat brimmed hat and a long suit coat with large shoulder pads and baggy pants at the knees. So many Mexican teenagers or ponchos in East Los Angeles began dressing like this. So when discrimination began to rise, many people would mob these young teens in the streets and beat them to death. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. Wonder who it's from.
Jemima.
So, we actually just received a letter from the Youth Committee for Defense of Mexican American Youth. And this letter says, "Dear Mr. Wallace, we are writing you this letter because we heard you speak on the 16th of September here in Los Angeles. In our neighborhood, there are no recreation centers, and the nearest movie is about a mile away. We have no place to play, so the police are always arresting us. There is still a lot of discrimination in theaters and swimming pools. And the newspapers have made us look like criminals too. They make fun of zoot suits and use the word Mexicans like a dirty word. That's messed up. We have talked about all this in our club, and we think it is very bad for the war because it is against unity and divides us from the rest of the people. We know that us Mexican American boys and girls can do a lot of things to win the war if someone would give us a chance. We have got a defense club to help the 24 boys on trial, and the way we are raising money for that is to collect scrap iron. Discrimination is what hurts the most, so help us with that particularly, because discrimination is the thing that makes the other Americans divide from us. We don't like Hitler or the Japanese either. We thank you very much. Respectfully, the Youth Committee for the Defense of Mexican American Youth." So what do you guys think about that, the discrimination towards Mexican American youth?
I think it's outright disgusting and horrific, and I think we could come together as people and defeat the Japanese.
Amen,
Truly,
sister.
Truly. And so, these boys are trying to raise money for the 24 other Mexican American youth that are on trial. They're raising money by collecting scrap iron. But if you want to make an immediate donation, please text 701-844-6734 and leave a message saying "Yo Mama" at 6, and we will consider a donation.
Now we have a live on-set interview with a Mexican American that was affected in World War II.
Good morning, American. Yo Mama at 6. Today I am Felipe, and we are here with Escobar Pablo John Wick. And we are going to ask him some questions about how World War II has affected him to get a first-hand experience. So, can you please describe these zoot suits for us?
They were a huge part of our culture, and they were broad-brimmed felt hats, and you wore a long suit coat with huge shoulder pads and baggy pants and that were flared at the kneecaps.
And I also heard that you had a slogan that you used, and your hopes for doing it were to prove your loyalty to the United States and become part of the mainstream. What was that slogan exactly?
Americans all.
Mm-hmm. And I actually heard that suggests that that you guys were willing to work hard and prove this, and you guys did this in combat units?
Yes.
And before the war, is this true or false? But I heard from another source that before the war, discrimination had barred most Americans from high-paying jobs. Is that true?
Yes, very true.
And one more question for you before you have to go. Your living situations in the major cities, how is that?
Nearly self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm. And do you live with other groups, other races, or?
No, we live completely apart from the whites.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for tuning in and watching. We'll be live tomorrow at 6 a.m.
Jamama!